States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The notice of this meeting, pursuant to the Open Public Meeting Act, NJSA 10:4-10, has been complied with the and shall be entered into the minutes of this morning. Ms. Roas, may I have a roll, please?
Trustee Anderson. Trustee Beauties. Here. Trustee Chitala. Trustee Delgado. Trustee Finkelstein. Trustee Madhukar. Yeah. Trustee Oris.
Here.
Trustee Pelori.
Here.
Trustee Raja.
I'm here.
Trustee Roman.
Here.
Trustee Sika.
On Zoom.
Trustee Taffet.
Here.
Chair Raja, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Roy. The first item in the business in the election of officers, I call upon the trustee, Mr. Bob Sika, to give the report of the nominating committee. Mr. Sika.
John, he's on mute. Can you be unmuted from your end?
Thank you.
Chairman Raja,
Good
the
morning.
nominating committee met on November 8th. The nominating committee admits the following nominations for board officers for 2023 and 2024. For chair, Raja, for vice chair, Taffet. For treasurer, Finkelstein, secretary, Sika, assistant secretary, Roja.
The slate of the 2024 at 25, Praful Raja nominated for chair. Gary Taffet is nominated for vice chair. Mr. Mark Finkelstein is nominated for treasurer. Robert Sika nominated for the secretary. Bernadette Rowe is nominated for assistant secretary. Are there any further nominations of this officers? Hearing no further nomination, the nominations are closed. All those in favor of electing Praful Raja for chair, Gary Taffet for vice chair, Mark Finkelstein for treasurer, Robert Sika for secretary, and Bernie Roas as assistant secretary, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Any abstention?
Aye. Chairman Raja, the nominating committee submits the following nomination for representatives and alternates for the Board of School Estimate. Raja, representative, Taffet, representative, Mark Finkelstein, alternate, and Sika, alternate.
Raja and Gary Taffet nominated for Board of School Estimate representative, and Mark J. Finkelstein and Robert P. Sika for Board of School Estimate alternates. Are there any further nomination for the Board of School of Estimate? Here, no further nominations are closed. All those in favor appointing Praful Raja, Gary Taffet as Board of School Estimate representative, and Mark J. Finkelstein, Robert J. Sika, the Board of School Estimate alternates says yeah. Oh, yes?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. The yes gets it. I would like to appoint the following standing committees, chairs and committee members. Academic and Students Affairs Committee, Mr. Kyle Anderson, Chair, G.V. Madhukar, Vice Chair, and committee members, P.C. Budas and Bhavisha Chitala. Facility committees, Robert Sika, Anand Paluri, Vice Chair, and the committee members are Kyle Anderson and Gary Taffet. Finance Committee, Gary Taffet, Chair, Mark Finkelstein, Vice Chair, and committee members Robert Orris and Robert Sika. Human Resources, Robert Chair, Diane Roman, Vice Chair, and committee members Iris Delgado and Anand Paruri. Marketing and Public Relation Committee, Chrissy Butis, Chair, Iris Delgado, Vice Chair, and committee members Shivi Madhukar and Diane Roman. I would like to appoint the following ad hoc committee chair and committee members along with the board liaison. Bylaw Committee, Mr. Kyle Anderson, Chair, Kissy Budas, Vice Chair, and committee members Shivi Madhukar and Anand Paluri. Nominating Committee, Robert Sika, Mark Finkelstein, Vice Chair, and committee member Iris Delgado and Gary Taffet. Liaison to the President of the President's Community Advisory Committee is Robert Orris. Liaison to the Committee of Community Committee is Bhavisha Chatala. The trustee Anderson, I'm sorry, trustee ambassador to the New Jersey Council of County Colleges is Christy Butis. May I have the motion to approve the following recognition resolutions? Appointment of public agency compliance officers, this designation of official newspaper board member dates from 2024 to 2025, designation of financial institutions and signatories for the college, I'm sorry. Designations of contracting agents, reaffirming of the board policies and bylaw, including new and revised policies and bylaw, accepting annual report for 2023-24. I have a motion, please.
Motion?
Motion. Second
Did hear me.
by Mr. Anderson and second by Mr. Paluri. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? He gets it. The motion is carried. Ms. Roas, any register to address the board?
Chair Roger, we have no one, no individuals are ready.
So much. We have a motion to adjourn the annual board meeting of the Middlesex College Board of Trustees.
So moved, Mr. Raja. Bob Morris.
Have a second.
Second Roman.
Second by Ms. Roman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any abstention? So much. Congratulations to all the new. Okay. We can start with our regular board
We can,
meeting,
yes.
yes? Good morning. I would like to call the November 18th 2024, meeting of the Middlesex College Board of Trustees to order. The notice of the meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meeting Act NJSA 10:4-10 has been compiled and with and shall enter into the minutes of the meeting. Ms. Roas, may I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Anderson,
Here.
trustee Beauties, trustee Chitala, trustee Delgado. Here. Trustee Finkelstein, trustee Madhukar,
Oh, sorry, yes, yeah.
trustee Oris,
Here.
trustee Pelori.
Here.
Trustee Raja,
I'm here.
trustee Roman,
Here.
trustee Sika,
Here.
trustee Taffet,
Here.
Chair Raja, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Ross. In order to assist the Assistant Board Secretary to taking the accurate minutes of this meeting, I request that trustee identify themselves for the record when making the motion and the second motion or abstention. We have motion to approve the minutes of the October 16, 2024 Board of Trustees regular meeting.
So moved. Okay.
Seconded,
Second, trustee Malakar?
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention. Mr. Roas, do we have any correspondence?
Chair Raja, there is no correspondence.
Thank you. Dr. McCormick, do we have a presentation?
Chair Roger, we do. So at Middlesex College, I'm proud that we have a very vibrant and supportive Office of Military and Veteran Services. We have had for slightly over a decade. And we have today with us the coordinator of that program, a woman named Jovanka Rajkovic, and some students. But first I want to introduce Dr. Alex Delgado, who will introduce Jovanka. Alex?
Dr. McCormick, and good morning, board members. I have the pleasure of introducing our coordinator. Some of you may recall that we had Mr. Carlos Perez as our coordinator last year presenting. And unfortunately, and he had to make a very tough decision.
There you go.
Am I good now?
I think so, yeah.
All right, testing. All right. And so, Mr. Perez, in order to continue to receive his veteran benefits and had to make a very tough decision, and in order to enable him to continue to receive his benefits, had to step down from a full-time position. But luckily, he's still here. We still have him, as a VA work-study student. But we were able to post a position, and we were able to identify an amazing coordinator, Ms. Jovanka Rajkovic, who again is going to share just what she's been doing since she's been here, and just share some great things and great work that she's doing with veteran and military services. So, Ms. Rajkovic.
Good morning, Dr. McCormick and members of the board. My name is Jovanka Rajkovic, and I'll be starting the presentation on military and veteran services. Next slide, please. So I am an Army veteran. I've served on active duty from 2008 to 2014. I've deployed to Afghanistan between 2010 and 2011, and I'm currently serving in the New Jersey National Guard as a lieutenant. Next slide, please. And this is my team, myself as a coordinator. We have Michelle Rubio Rincon, who's the Assistant Veteran Specialist. We have Ms. Yvonne Nelson, who is our VA Veteran Success Counselor, as well as our work study team. Next slide, please. So who do we serve and who is our population? So military connected is students who are currently serving, whether active duty, National Guard, reserve component. But our office, like our current student body, we have a representation of all branches at the time, so it's very nice and well-rounded. Our veterans are students who have already served in the military and were discharged under honorable conditions. We also serve our dependent students who their sponsor is a veteran. Next slide, please. Here I'm gonna go over some of the benefits that fall under the VA education umbrella. So every benefit is coded by a chapter. And a chapter, it depends on your eligibility. When you leave the service or if you're a dependent. So chapter 31 is a VA benefit for all student veterans who have a service-connected disability. Chapter 33, which is one of our biggest chapters, it is, their eligibility is when you separate from the military under honorable conditions. Chapter 35 is for our dependent students. So either a spouse or a child of a veteran. Chapter 1606 is a VA benefit for reservist students who are currently serving under armed forces and they're going to school. And our National Guard tuition waiver, which is for our National Guard students who they get their tuition waived. So overall, under Chapter 31 and Chapter 33 covers 100% tuition and fees. However, though, for Chapter 35 and 1606, those particular students will receive a stipend a month, and they are responsible for paying their tuition and fees. But all of them are encouraged to apply for financial aid so it can help in the between or if anything that wasn't covered. Next slide, please. So this is our enrollment and some of the numbers for this past semester and last year. So as you can see, for fall 2023, we had 60 students enrolled. For the summer of 2024, we had 20 students. However, though, for fall 2024, we've had 101 students enrolled, and that is a total increase of 68.3%. So a quick breakdown, we have 35 National Guard reservist students, we have 44 veterans and 22 dependents, as well as 2 NJCU vet students who are part of our work study team. And some of the recruitment initiative that we've done so far, we've partnered with admissions, so they were able to provide us with a list of students who have applied to the college, were accepted but never enrolled. And also within the list, there were students who started an application but never finished. So we were able to contact students, provide them with information, and also acquire information about their benefits so we can be able to help them a little more and they were comfortable to return to school. We also participated in different recruitment events within the school, and I've partnered also with different National Guard companies to be able to go and provide information about our college. Next slide, please. And our funding support, our major funder, as you know, our department is grant funded. So our major funder is Willard T.C. Johnson Foundation, as well as the Elks Lodge Edison, but they do donations. So they've done school supply donations, and the Veteran and Renaissance of Monroe, they've done computers and calculator donations for our students. Next slide, please. And these are some of our services and activities. As you can see, however, I'm gonna pick one from each to just kind of elaborate on them. So for our services, we have direct access to our VA counselor, which is Ms. Yvonne Nelson. And just so you all know, Rutgers and ourselves are the only school in the state who have access to a VA counselor, which is really nice because our students are able to ask any type of VA benefits questions when it comes to education, anything healthcare related, or any claim, as she works directly with the VA. And one of our activities that I would like to highlight is our community salutes. It's a partnership with Ms. Susan Parison, and they work together to honoring those high school students who have recently graduated high school, who have entered into the armed forces, and also supporting the parents, providing them with information so they know that their students, their children are well taken care of once they go to the military. However, we also share information about the college, and we provide our information so once they leave the service, come back from training, they can start using their benefits with us. Next slide, please. And these are some of the events that we've been participating within the fall semester. The recent event that we had was the Veterans Benefits Claim Clinic with the VA representative here, our student lounge and college center. We've also done the Rutgers Veteran and Military Recognition Game, as well as the Veterans Day Parade in New York City. Next slide, please. And some of the recognition and awards, we have the 23-24 Victory Media Military Friendly Schools. We've had the Gold Star Large Community College. The recent one that we've done, we've completed a VA audit and we are in compliance until 2027. And scholarship student awards, we've had one of our student veterans who served in the Army. Her name is Akusa Deborah. She's a freshman in the nursing program. and she received the Albert Sayreville Rotary Scholarship. Next slide, please. And these are ways that you guys can connect with us via email or Instagram. We try to post all of information events, but if you guys have any questions or any concerns, please send us an email and we'll be happy to provide you with any other further information. However, though, at this time, I would like to introduce Joseph Velez, who is one of our student veterans and as well as our work study.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joseph Velez, formerly Sergeant Velez, United States Marine Corps. I was asked to say a few words today on behalf of the veterans here at Middlesex. I'll make it short. At the age of 43, I decided to leave a 20-year career in union construction in New York City and come back to school. I'm 80% disability. I have 16 screws and 4 plates holding my upper jaw together from the Marine Corps. My son now is on active duty and my daughter finished her active duty. I am the oldest person in all my classes. I am the oldest person, probably the oldest student probably here. I want to get my message to you is I just want you to know that the veterans program, the veterans assistance that's on Middlesex is detrimental to all the veterans. At the age of 43, they made it possible for me to seek information and obtain it and come back to school easier than I ever thought. My previous degrees in mortuary science, which is absolutely the furthest thing that I'm going to school for now. And without Yvanka, without Ms. Nelson, without the fellow veterans here, it would not be possible. I got longer nights ahead of me. I got longer days than all the kids in my class, but they make it easier. You guys make it easier. And I just wanted to say thank you for all your support and all your help. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. If there's any questions, I'm here to answer them.
I don't know if it's a question, but what I will say is obviously, thank you for being here this morning. I think the veterans component is such an important part of what Middlesex College is about, what we stand for. I think given the timing, it's also appropriate that you're here. This is as close to Veterans Day, I guess, as our meeting could be. And I find it very difficult to believe that you served 2008 and 2014. I would have thought you had served more recently.
Oh,
Not that that isn't recent and important. And kudos, to you for stepping up and helping to administer this program. I mean, it takes the entire community, and I'm proud that it's such an important component of what the college and what Middlesex County stands for, and it continues to be important. I believe on our board, I believe Mr. Horace and Mr. Sika are both veterans, if I'm correct. Bob?
Yes.
Yes. And so, never had that distinction, but very proud to serve with those gentlemen as well. And I just think that that's important. Giving back is important. Being given an opportunity is important. Making it rewarding all the way around so that there are opportunities and that folks see a path, a career path. So, what you embody, I think, is important. So I'm sorry that it's really not in the form of a question, but I do think it's very helpful to have you with us to sharing those experiences this morning, and look forward to you guys continuing to grow and hopefully continue to be safe and keep us safe.
well, thank you so much, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to provide more information about our department. And also thank you to all my student veterans who were able to come this morning, and I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you,
I have a
Gary.
question.
And
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, first and foremost, to you and all the veterans that served, I want to thank you. Thank you very much for all you do. It's good to see a community within the college community supporting each other. I'm really pleased to hear that. The main reason I want to say something is, I don't know if some of you are aware of it or not, but recently the state of New Jersey did a study of the minority businesses enterprise disproportionality in getting the work. It's a huge topic right now going in the assembly. And specifically, it applies to the African American, Latino, also to the disabled veteran business. So it's good to see some of you coming back to school. And my hope is that you're going to start some businesses to fulfill the goals that are going to be introduced in the legislation pretty soon. So if you're on the borderline, thinking about starting a business, I strongly encourage you to do that because state and the federal government is going to require that we allocate a certain percentage of every single contract to be allocated to the disabled veterans.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a question. First of all, I echo my colleagues' sentiments and thanking you. Mr. Velez, your words were very resonating, and I think that it is those messages really that can speak to others who may not feel that there is opportunities for them to still grow. No matter your age, there's a place for you here at Middlesex, and we welcome those opportunities to celebrate individuals like yourself and all those that serve. My question is prefaces more on the enrollment, applied distinction. Where do you pinpoint, where was that success within that target increase?
So like I mentioned, working with admissions was really helpful. So we were able to get a list of all the students who were, so during the application process, there's a tab that they can put whether they're veterans or veteran affiliated. So that helped us pretty much navigate who already we had in our student information and enrollment. And we had maybe about, I want to say between like 50 and 70 students who did and started the application or applied but never enrolled. So calling them, sending them emails, and they were really responsive during the summertime. And that, I feel like that was like the biggest main reason that helped us kind of go over the 60 number from last year in the fall. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Our other veteran, Mr.
I
Sika.
just, I'd like to thank them for their service.
Oh, thank you for your service as well,
Thank you,
sir.
Bob. Thank
Chairman
you.
Martin?
Yes, Chrissy.
I'm gonna try to do, oh, it does, okay. Trying to read the directions here. Now, again, just want to echo my fellow trustees' sentiments and thank you for your service. Thank you to everybody in the audience for your service as well. My question is, and specifically also recognizing that when I listen to our freeholder director, Ron Rio, so I know he has spent a lot of time with the armed services and dedicating time to the veterans. What is the number one thing you hear from our students about areas for improvement or ways that we can assist them moving forward?
So far what I've heard from the students is just information, right? They want more information. They want to make sure that we cover everything that they need within the college itself. So that's what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to provide them with all the information that they need from as soon as they step into my office. I ensure that they don't leave unless they have all the information, whether, maybe they're not might be interested in doing work study, but I do let them know that they have the opportunity to apply for work study. Because there's, extra income that comes from the VA, because it's a federal work study. So they get everything that they possibly need from us. But if they have any issues where there might be financial resources, we can always provide that as well to them. So I'm trying to create a well-rounded office so they don't feel like they don't have the information or they feel left out, because that's not okay, especially have they served the time that they've served in the military. I want to make sure that they're well taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, one, again, thank you all for your service. As a daughter of a veteran, this is really hard. And I had a question about both the enrollment and also the services, but on a marketing standpoint, how do you think that the university or the college could do better in terms of marketing the programs and also highlighting some of the stories?
As far as marketing perspective goes, I think working with marketing will be great. As far as maybe creating a partnership like my office with them and just being able to provide whether it's all the events, or any type of workshops that we have, so we can get all the student veterans, because there are student veterans that maybe they don't want to use their benefits here, but they're still on campus. And there's also staff that are veterans that I do want to collaborate with them, you know, whether they might need resources or maybe they can provide us with more information since they've been, you know, in the school longer. So working with marketing, I feel like maybe just advertising it a little more would be good. Thank you.
Anderson, thank you.
I want to thank you for your service, all of you that are here today, and thank you for being here, sharing the good information about the services that are provided from the college to our veterans, and just want to continue to create that kind of voice on behalf of our veterans. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lieutenant. And it was a great.
Thank you.
Mr. Raja?
Yes,
Just
yes,
one
Bob.
comment.
Yes.
Just want to thank everybody for the service that served overseas. And everybody should remember, we are the land of the free because of the brave.
Thank you, that was
Thank you.
good.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your presentation, very
Thank you.
good,
Thank you for your time.
thank you. Okay, we can start with the committee report, academic and students affairs. I call upon the trustee Anderson for presentation of academic and students affairs.
Okay, if we could have a report from Dr. Orals.
Thank you, trustee Anderson. The Academic and Student Affairs Committee has 3 resolutions for your consideration this month. The first 2 resolutions pertain to grants, and the third resolution pertains to the academic calendar. The first grant, Some College No Degree, has been given to the college through the Office of the Secretary of Higher Education, and the college has been awarded $100,000 in a grant to assist in re-engaging students who have some college credits but have not earned a degree. The goal is to re-enroll these students and support them in their efforts to complete a credential. Funds will be used to support programming to address re-enrollment barriers. The second grant is the Hunger Free Campus Grant Program. The college has been awarded a state-funded grant in the amount of $71,500 to address student hunger and food insecurity by leveraging more sustainable solutions to address basic food needs on campus and raise awareness of the services offered on campus. The funding supports the on-campus resource hub and food pantry, which provides grocery pickup for students, access to meal gift cards, snack packs, and support in the form of referrals to other community-based organizations. And lastly, you have the 2027-2028 academic calendar. In keeping with prior practice, it is customary to have 3 years of academic calendars posted and available for students and staff to assist with students and departments' long-term planning needs. The proposed academic calendar is in keeping with prior academic years. There are no changes to what has been submitted in previous years except to update the term, start and end dates, and the holidays.
Very much. I have a motion to, for resolutions 1 through 3.
So
Okay.
moved, Bob Orr.
Second.
Seconded by Dr. Orals. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion is carried. Finance, I call upon the chair, trustee Duffett, to present the finance resolution.
Thank you, Chairman Raja. Good morning. Of course, I in turn will turn it over to Frank Maltino to present the finance resolutions from our meeting of last week.
Thank you and good morning, Chairman Tappert, Chairman Raja. On Wednesday, November 13th at 8:30 a.m., the Finance Committee met to discuss various financial matters at the college. They are contained in 10 finance resolutions before you today. Funding for the aforementioned resolutions consists of operating funds, minor capital funds, Chapter 12 funding, and grant funding. In summary, resolutions 1 through 5 are for purchase awards and fair and open bids, contract amendments for various goods and services this month for items such as water pump replacement at the Lamadou Hall and in the New Brunswick Center. Also, it ranges to procurement of natural gas from NRG Energy through the New Jersey County College Consortium. Resolution 6 is for contract amendments for intellectual property, such as our trademark, and additional promotional items this month. Resolution 7 is a sale of tangible business property through govdeals.com that the college is deemed unuseful to its purpose. And this is in compliance with federal law with no appreciable net book value. Resolution number 8 is the authorization for progress payments to various contractors, architects, and engineers for construction projects on campus that have been previously approved by this body. Resolution number 9 is the payment of legal fees to Leonard David of Cranford, New Jersey, in connection with the college's trademark registration in the amount of $4,200 this month. And lastly, resolution number 10 is the college's annual compliance with the Higher Education Act of 1994, where we disclose the amount of legal fees expended during the prior fiscal year and also our public relations costs during the prior year. Chairman Tappett, that concludes the finance resolutions today.
Thank you, Mr. Maltino. Chairman Raja, I would like to make a motion to move resolutions 1 through 10, except for resolution 3B. On that resolution, we'll be abstaining and ask for another to make that motion.
Mr. Raja, I move resolution 3B.
Second, please.
Second.
Flutie seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have one abstention. Motion is carried. Human Resources, I call upon Committee Chair, Trustee Oris, to present the Human Resources resolutions.
Thank you, Mr. Raja. Mr. Morgan will have a report for us now.
Thank you. This month includes 22 recommended items in total in the areas of new hires, status changes, separations, and miscellaneous actions. A summary of all of these items is listed in your packet. I'm happy to answer any questions any trustee may have.
Thank you for your report, Mr. Morgan. I would like to make a motion to approve all resolutions in the categories of hires, change of status, separations, and miscellaneous.
Second, trustee Renz.
Second by. Thank you so much. All in favor? Aye. The abstention. Motion is carried. ILO committee have on Mr. Anderson to propose the bylaw amendment.
Thank you, President Raja. The bylaws committee met on November 4th and reviewed proposed bylaw amendments. I call upon General Counsel Hoffman to review proposed amendments.
Thank you, Trustee Anderson. Most of the amendments were really updates to reflect the current board policy, and I'll just summarize them. There were 2 references to the Board of Chosen Freeholders, and as you're aware, the Board of Chosen Freeholders are now the county commissioners, so that was changed from freeholders to county commissioners. In connection with the election of officers, before we had that, the election had to be by ballot, and as the board practice has been either ballot or roll call, so we added either ballot or roll call. In connection with the Committee on Facilities, we added 2 more responsibilities, which they do, reviewing and recommending construction contracts with outside contractors and reviewing energy saving proposals. With the connection with the Committee on Academic Affairs, we added another responsibility, which is review and recommend grants to be received by the college. We also changed the committee, Committee on Marketing and Public Relations from an ad hoc committee to a permanent committee, because that's been the practice over the last couple of years, and also set forth what their responsibilities are. And in connection with the attendance of the public and responding to the public, we clarified that the response will be done by the chair, the presiding officer, or the president. And finally, we allowed the assistant secretary to also take copies of the minutes. It was just the secretary before. These are being introduced in this month, and according to the board bylaws, they will be voted on at the December meeting of the board. Questions?
Questions?
There's no action to be taken today. These are just being introduced.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Thank you, Mr. Hoffman. Appreciate it. back from the Middlesex County Board of County Commissioners, Commissioner Scott McCallum, or we have Sandy Kate.
Sandy on?
Yes, I'm on. Good morning, everyone. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. I have no remarks that I'm bringing forward on behalf of the commissioner, but thank you for, as always, for having us participate.
Have a good weekend and then a good holiday. Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you.
Report from council? Mr.
No
Hoffman?
report.
No report? Okay.
Mr. Raja, so it's November, and as you saw at the presentation at the outset of the meeting, thank you, Jovanka, we are honoring our veterans, and a lot of us here at the table talked about that some of us are veterans, some of us are children of veterans. So if anybody in the room is a veteran, please raise your hand. Thank you for your service. And those of us who are children of veterans, raise your hand. Thank you to your families for their service. For the trustees and the people here, a couple of things you can take away today. As you saw in the annual meeting, we are presenting to you the annual report for 2023-2024. This is a mock-up prototype. The final version is being put together right now, but it'll be on our website fairly soon. And you can see the great accomplishments that we all did as a community here at Middlesex College during the academic and fiscal year 23-24. Also, there's a card reminding us about Giving Day. I'll talk about that in a minute. And we also give the board, and we have others if you want them, a handy pocket card that has key statistics and facts about the college, like enrollment, that you can put in your wallet. When people ask questions, you can answer some of them. There are more information about the college on the website. And to the trustees, I ask you to stick around after if you can. We're going to take some photos, partly for Giving Day, but also because I think we have today the most trustees we've had in person in a while. We want to capture that photographically. So next slide. This is the season we head into as a nation where we honor our annual Thanksgiving holiday, gathering with family and friends to celebrate our blessings, and then all kinds of winter holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah, Diwali, Kwanzaa. And at those events, we often count our blessings. And I'm going to count the blessings we have here as a community by talking about caring colleagues here at the college, faculty and staff. So these are just a couple examples. We go on all morning about this, but we talked last month, Charlotte Quigley, about all the efforts like we put into as a community into getting students here at the college to register to vote, think about and become informed voters, and actually vote. And we had some record numbers of students who registered and who pledged to vote. So again, thanks to all of you who helped get students to think about exercising their franchise and becoming engaged citizens. Next slide. This is an event from last spring. The guy in the middle there is Drew Chunawala, who is a proud alum and who came back as a faculty member 2 years ago. And he resurrected something called the Computer Club. He's a computer science teacher. And last year it had nearly 100 active members. It was the largest club on campus. And this was their end of the year showcase where they took me around and showed me all their projects they worked on all spring. So again, thanks to caring colleagues and faculty like Drew, who teach every day, but also who go above and beyond and sponsor clubs and work with students outside of the classroom. Next slide. This is a photo from an event a few weeks ago. We as a college have long worked with Middlesex County to offer high school equivalency training to take the test to get a GED for those students who for some reason didn't finish high school at the appropriate age. And we had a number of the graduates there, but we actually had 48 graduates this year, a record number. And that goes largely to the woman on the far left there, Tracy Montani, our director of workforce learning, who works hard to make sure this program and other programs like it take shape and have a good effect, good outcome. And there in the middle are the two instructors. On the left is Jennifer Jones, on the right is Cleopatra Jones. The students all, when they spoke, talked about the fact that it was the team of the Jones women who got them through to take the test and pass the test. So thanks to caring colleagues on the non-credit side who do all kinds of things in the classroom as well. Next slide. This is a slide from around Halloween, as you might have guessed. And this is the team from academic advising, career and transfer services led by Ria Javiria. And you might not be able to see where Ria is. Ria's wearing the ghost costume. So thank you to all the folks in ACT and everybody in Student Enrollment Services who work so hard every day to get our students into class, through to the end, graduated, onto careers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Next slide. We also have the generous partners, and I'm going to mention one right now. Mr. Rod is part of a group here in Edison, the BAPS, that has a temple down the road on Woodbridge. They're in the process of gathering food between now and Christmas, and that's going to come to the college, our food pantry. But recently we had another gift. Next slide. This is a photo from a week or so ago where over a dozen local Dharmic communities in Edison and around, led by Hindu Swayamsevak Sang USA, who together donated 20,000 pounds of food to our community resource hub and food pantry. Amanda Lyons is our coordinator for that group, said it's the largest single donation we've had to date. And again, it helps to feed our students, many of whom indicate they have food insecurity on a regular basis. And so thank you to our generous partners like the BAPS community and the Dartmouth communities that helped at Siva Diwali to make sure there's food on our pantry shelves and the students can take advantage of that. Next slide. This is a photo from an event recently at the Mexican consulate in New Brunswick, and that only took place about 2 years ago. I got to meet Mariana Diaz, who's on the left there, who's the consul titular, the head consul here in New Brunswick. The consul of Mexico in New Brunswick shares a building with New Brunswick Tomorrow, on whose board I serve. And the day that Mariana arrived, I got to meet her because she was there meeting Jamie Santiago, who's the president of New Brunswick Tomorrow. And she said she wanted to indicate that she wanted to have a partnership with the college and work with us to help students of all kinds thrive and do well, not just in New Brunswick, but beyond. And so I hooked her up with Annie Hogan, who's on the far right, who's the chair of our Visual Performing and Media Arts Department. And the two of them cooked up a scheme where we have now our student art in the Mexican consulate on display through May. So I was there for the opening reception with also Professor Susan Altman, second from the right. And the student on the second from the left is Adamadas Vasquez, one of the students whose art is on display, who gave her remarks both in Spanish and English and brought down the house. It's some amazing art. It's open to the public. So any day, the Mexican consulate's open in New Brunswick, 390 George Street. Just go in, ask to see it. They'll take you down there. There'll be some photos of that in writing memos and coming up, but it was a really amazing event. And again, thanks to the partnership of groups like the Mexican consulate for showcasing our students' artwork. Next slide. And I want to thank our trustees. Next slide. So many things we do here take support in terms of introductions, in terms of connections, in terms of support, in terms of bragging about it. And I've been working for about 8 years on developing a memorandum of understanding with Rutgers University in New Brunswick, where most of our students want to go. And it is by far the largest target for our students. And we're the largest sending community college to RUNB. But for many years, they did not have any kind of formal relationship with us. That changed a few weeks ago. And a lot of you here on the board were at that event where we signed the MOU. It's going to be a big deal. I learned from Vice President Courtney McAnuff, who's in charge of enrollment management at Rutgers, that last year for this fall class, entering class of 2024, that they turned away 1,800 Middlesex County residents who did not get in to Rutgers on the first try. Now, if we even get a portion of those students, what happens is those students now save money for the first 2 years, get small class size, high touch, go on and blow it out of the water at Rutgers. Last year, the highest grade point average and speaker at the Arts of Sciences College was a Middlesex transfer student. And then Rutgers also benefits. They get in year 3 where they have open seats now, students who didn't get in year 1. So it's a win-win-win. And at the end of the day, those students still have a Rutgers diploma on their wall. So thanks for your support for those kind of events. Those kind of partnerships are meaningful and impactful, and they wouldn't happen without your support. Next slide. And Giving Day. So there's a card in front of you here. Many of you have already given, but I've got 100% commitment from this board to give between now and December 3rd. Thank you for your support. We'll get a photo afterwards. And also the team here in front of me, the executive team's all given or committed to giving by December 3rd. So by extension, I ask all of you, even $1, when we all commit as an organization, as a community, as an entity, it means more, and it means to our students that we care about their success. And as you heard from Javonka, the scholarships are meaningful to students. Even when they have VA benefits, there are gaps in what they need. Scholarships fill those gaps. So giving is important. Thank you for giving. Next slide. And now a little bit about our history. So we started last month with talking about our first 60 years here at the college. We talked about the pre-1964 events led up to the formation of the college and the charter from the state. Now I'm talking about the first couple of years led up to the first class, which started in fall of '66. First slide. So these are the first 2 hires at the college. The guy on the left, Frank Chambers, for whom this building is named, founding president of Middlesex County College. And on the right, Alice Park, the secretary of the board, but also secretary to the president. Guess which one was hired first? Alice. Alice was hired first. Alice was hired in February of '65 while the search was going on to find our first president. He was hired in March and started in July, but they worked together as a team alone for many, many, many months. Next slide. Their eventual home here on campus was in Center 1. So if you go backwards, where am I pointing to? That way, right? There we go. There are 4 little buildings used to be officers' houses between Main Hall and the library and Lamadou Hall. And the first one is Center 1, where eventually Dr. Chambers and Ms. Park came to rest and had their offices. But for the first few months, that building was not in good shape. It had been used during the arsenal, but left derelict for many decades, and therefore had to be cleaned up and refreshed. And so they had an office in the Middlesex County Courthouse on Bayard Street in New Brunswick. This is the sign they had temporarily when they were living there, working out of an office in New Brunswick. Next slide. So one of the first tasks was to take stock of what buildings were usable here on this campus from the old arsenal days. Buildings like North Hall and Merton Hall that could be spruced up and made into functional buildings for offices and for classrooms. But we also had to envision then a new campus that would come out of that. Next slide. And so we hired architects, and the first 3 buildings they designed were going to be Main Hall, which ended up being now our science building, but at that point it was the only academic building. The library, which was modeled after the Douglas Library at New Brunswick, and also then the original part of the gym, the PE Center. Those all were conceived of in '66 and built by '67 at the end of the first year of having students on campus. Next slide. And you can't see really well here, but this is a list of the faculty in the first college catalog. So the numbers, I have them here somewhere. Who was hired with that first year? So Dr. Chambers and Ms. Park set about advertising and hiring a whole cast of a team who were in place by the fall of '66. And we hired within that first year, 41 faculty members, 25 clerical staff, 10 maintenance custodial staff, and 8 administrative staff, and then grew from there. So this is some of the first hires at the college beyond Dr. Chambers and Ms. Park. Next slide. And we had to obviously then recruit a student body for the first class in fall of '66. So there are many events. This is the sign that was used for one of the early open houses. And we'll talk more about the first student body next month. Next slide. That's the report, Mr. Raja, and we'll have you guys stick around a few minutes for a couple photos.
Thank you very much. That was a great history. Another history is 60 years, Mr. Hop.
I didn't know that you could put Mr. Hoff to 60 years into a 2-minute presentation.
No, it will be a special presentation. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Gary. Okay. Thank you, Dr. McCormick, for the good presentations. I'll call upon Ms. Pat Payne, the president of FT 1940. Ms. Payne, which you have 5 minutes to address it.
I'm going to forward Ms. Payne. It's neither here in person nor on Zoom.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Any old business?
Roger, we have no old business.
Any new business? Thank you. Comments from audience?
Here, Roger, we have one individual registered to speak.
One person?
Yes, that person is Charlie Cradaville, who I am asking to unmute right now.
Good morning.
Really good. Okay, perfect.
Thanks.
So-
Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we hear you. Your
Okay.
time begins now.
Thank you. Good morning, board, and thank you for the presentations today. I really appreciated them. Again, I'll point to some coverage in Quo Vadis. This article is track coaches contract not renewed due to track and field cut. And it includes, more coverage of your meetings and the situation with the track team. I know it's unfortunate that the season was canceled, and I wanted to actually hear from the board and hear, why that happened. In your, from your vantage point, there's been some conflicting perspectives put out there, and I did receive a statement from your executive director of marketing saying that the Middlesex College Athletics Department investigated and identified student eligibility and medical clearance issues within the track and field program during the 2023-2024 academic year, and goes on to say that the matter was self-reported to the NJCAA. I'd like to know what the board's comment is on the whole situation with the track team, the apparent investigation that was done, and the report made to the NJCAA, as well as the reason being given to others that the reason for the cancellation was the closure of Thomas Edison Park. What's the real story here?
Thank you so much for your comments, and we will, please submit your question, and we know now your question too, in writing via email, and the college administrations will respond to you, the reviews.
Well, I think the public would benefit from hearing from the board, and I would hope that you would deem this matter important enough to address it yourself. Or perhaps the administration could address it in this setting for all to hear. That's my request. Thank you.
Thank you for your request. I think administration will give you the response. Thank you so much. I think that concludes our, Dr. McCormick, would you like to have any final remark?
So again, we're heading into a time of counting our blessings. And again, our blessings here are manifold. They certainly include Jovanka and her team. They include all the faculty and staff, our external stakeholders like Rutgers and like BAPS and like HSS, but certainly also our trustees. So speaking of our trustees, if you can stick around, we'll get a couple of photos. And everybody else, please enjoy the coffee. There's lots of it. Thank you.
As we have no further business to conduct, and next regular meeting on the Monday, December 11th, 2024 at 8:30 in Chambers Hall, a boardroom on the Zoom and the